Hi and welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that have been linked with a January transfer move to the Arsenal. Back in the studio today after being outside the Emirates yesterday to announce the signing of Mohamed Elneny. Watch me whip, watch me Nene. He's in the team and finally signed. Arsenal have made their first January signing, and just good to actually see this guy we've been talking about for a couple of weeks. It's taken a while in an Arsenal kit. And listen, I'm hoping that this guy's going to be the real deal, because we saw the other night that that is an area, I think, of weakness at the moment with Francis Coquelin missing. Definitely that defensive midfielder area has been a problem. You saw Liverpool kind of overrunning us in that area. And this guy's going to literally have to hit the ground running, which is not easy. Remember, you know, once you come into a new league like the Premier League, it's very fast, as you could see that game the other night. And I'm not sure if, like, playing in the Swiss league for Basel, and Basel are a very good team, but they're not going to be coming up against the sort of opposition that you're going to come up against in the Premier League week in, week out. However, this guy is very experienced. He's played in the Champions League, and he has been training with the squad. And Arsene Wenger suggested that he could be straight into the squad for Sunday's game against Stoke if you ever needed a baptism of fire, right? As a defensive midfielder, that would be it, playing against Stoke, because you know what that place is like. The tackles will be flying in. But it's good to see that Arsenal finally made the signing of Mohamed Elneny, and let's hope that it's a good one. But now that we've got the DM position sorted, what about a striker? I know Giroud's been playing well. We've got also, of course, Theo Walcott there. Welbeck to come back. Wenger might not even go for a striker. But if he does, which striker could he move for that may be available at the moment? Now, there are a couple. Alvaro Morata, we're being told today in a lot of media outlets, could be available to Arsenal now in the January transfer window. He's only started 8 matches, apparently. I didn't realise that, but he's only started 8 matches for Juventus this season. Dybala is the guy that's been killing it over there in Juventus, and Morata just can't get in the team at the moment. He's only 23 years of age, of course, Juventus striker. The other thing that could work in Arsenal's favour is, I don't know if you heard it yesterday, but both Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid have been given a transfer embargo due to their dodgy dealings in the transfer market. Again, another Spanish club. They seem to constantly do it, but they've been given a ban, a 2-year ban. Now, they're likely to appeal against it, and it is possibly going to get suspended. But what a lot of people are suggesting is that it's increased Arsenal's chances of being able to get Morata, because, you know, they may not be able to sign any players at Real Madrid. So Alvaro Morata back on Arsenal's radar. We know he's a very talented player. Remember him scoring in the Champions League. Listen, he could be a decent signing if Arsenal chose to move for him. We know that Arsenal wanted to sign him before he moved to Juventus, so it's a possibility. We're also being linked again today with Alexandre Lacazette. Now, I don't have to tell you nothing about this guy. We spoke about him the whole of the summer. Striker last season was very prolific for Lyon. This season's been a bit quieter this season. It hasn't really sparked off for him so far this season. But interestingly, he was given an interview in the Telegraph, and he suggested in that interview that he's ready to move to England. You know, I mean, he said that, you know, over the past couple of years, I've heard about all the rumours, you know, being linked here and to let that club and this club. And he goes, he's, you know, I had to try hard not to make it distract him. But he said that, listen, I think I'll be prepared to move to the Premier League now. He's suggesting the summer, though, what he's saying. Although if he's suggesting the summer, I'm sure if Arsenal really, really wanted him and pushed the boat out, they could get a striker like Lacazette. Newcastle actually bid for him the other day, and they had the bid turned down. But Lacazette could be back on Arsenal's radar. And finally, this guy, well, not finally, I've got another target, but this guy here is really interesting. Now, he always gets bought up right throughout the summer. He's been bought up again in January. Arsenal not really, as far as I know, looking to buy him. But should Arsenal take a punt on Alexandre Pato? Pato, a real enigma, this guy. He was, when he was at AC Milan, he was considered one of the top prospects in the world, a real top prospect striker. But then he's just been beset by injury after injury after injury. Now plays his football for Corinthians in Brazil. Whilst out on loan from Corinthians last season, he played for Sao Paulo, scoring 10 goals. His contract expires in December. He's been hawked around all over the place by his agents, who claim now that he's fit and he could, you know, and he's still young, 26 years of age. We're being told today that Chelsea are interested in him. Other clubs, whether they are genuinely interested in him or whether that's agent talk, as I said, because the agents are really trying to push him to get him a move back to Europe, and they seem to favour him coming to the Premier League. But what do you guys reckon? Do you reckon that Pato is worth a punt? I want you to let me know in the comments below. Should Arsenal take a chance on Alexandre Pato, or is he too injury prone? We don't want another player back on the treatment in the treatment room. Let me know. Leave it in the comments below. Should Arsenal take a punt on Alexandre Pato? Linked as well to another striker today. This guy, he plays for Real Madrid. Goes by the name of Borja Mayoral. He's 18 years of age, and he's, you know, as a very young striker. Considered one of Real Madrid's top prospects, though, a real prospect. Listen, you don't get into Real Madrid or Barcelona youth teams unless you are one of the top players around for your age. Now, Fidges, the Spanish media outlet, claimed that he's fallen out of he's fallen out big time with Real Madrid over his wages. Arsenal have been looking at him for quite a while and could make a move for his signature. Now, you know, again, it's a lot of speculation, but Arsenal being linked heavily today to Borja Mayoral. And as I said, only 18 years of age. We know that Wenger likes to go and get young prospects that he can then possibly turn into superstar players. And it could be a player that could interest him. Fees wouldn't be big, etc. We know that MO is an Arsene Wenger thing for years. Another young player that we've been interested in, Arsene Wenger, described as the new Ashley Cole, another left back. Seems to be getting linked with left backs, left, right, and centre. Left, right, and centre. Of course, there was the Ben Chilwell one, the youngster who plays for Leicester that we've been linked heavily with. Well, this guy, Rico Henry, as I said, has been compared to Ashley Cole. Arsenal very interested in him. He plays for Walsall. And he's only 18 years of age and a left back, so we'll have to watch the space on that one. But Arsenal apparently taking a long, hard look at this kid, Rico Henry. And finally, David Ospina. Ospina, who was expecting to see him in the FA Cup the other day, but he picked up an injury, slight groin injury, wasn't able to play. Being linked with a move away again. Ospina, this time being linked to Everton. He was linked with Everton in the summer. He's been linked with a move to Everton. Besiktas have been interested in him. Arsenal, however, do not want to sell Ospina, and I don't think it would make any sense whatsoever to sell David Ospina. Got to keep this squad together as much as possible. We've got a lot of fronts that we're fighting on, and if there was an injury to Petr Cech, which is always possible, we know what it's like when it comes to injuries and Arsenal Football Club, we wouldn't have anybody to replace him in goal. Or well, when I say anybody to replace him, anybody of the standards that needs to be really high. And David Ospina is an international goalkeeper with experience. It'd be madness for me to let him go in this January transfer window. Something that I don't think will happen, but the links seem to grow day in, day out. This time it's with Everton. Let's see what you guys had to say about the signing of Mohamed Elneny. AFC General said Wenger claimed that he would only buy players of exceptional quality. So he said, I guess we will see. And that's true. That's true. That is what Wenger said. So let's see if this guy does have exceptional quality. Lakishma Guna says, I hope everybody gives this guy time. Remember how some fans were annoyed with Petr Cech after our first game against West Ham? That's true. You don't get a lot of time with Arsenal fans, but let's hope he does get a bit of time. Florent Zuko says, watch me whip. Watch me Nene. Or no, watch me Elneny, should I say. All right, that seems to be gathering pace, that song. Who started that song out? Who put that song out about 2 weeks ago on Twitter? Wasn't it Arsenal Fan TV? Weren't some people slating us for it? You never know. It could catch on. There's some people out there who don't want it to catch on, though. But listen, we just want him to be a great player on the pitch. That's all we want. Ari Gabriel says, is there an African Cup of Nations this month that we'll lose him to? The African Cup of Nations is not this month. African Cup of Nations won't be till the next year. Yeah, next season's I think is the next African Cup of Nations. So no, we're not going to lose him to that. So not to worry about that. And shall we get one more in? Swagger smashed. And by the way, loads of chants, the Elneny chants. Everybody seems to be on that let me whip Elneny one. But Swagger Smash, last one here, he said, Robbie, I heard that he's a box-to-box midfielder and not a DM. So more of a Vieira, not saying he's as good as compared to a defensive, out-and-out defensive midfielder like Gilberto Silva. That is true, and I've kind of heard that as well. I've sort of heard that, you know, he's been sort of more of a box-to-box midfielder when playing for Basel. But listen, Wenger talking about Elneny yesterday said that he's versatile. He can kind of play in both roles. He can play box-to-box or he can play defensive midfielder. It could be a very important signing with Coquelin missing. Let's hope he comes in and does a job. And those are the players we've been linking to today. Don't forget to check out, we've got some good preview videos coming up for the Stoke game. It's a massive game this weekend, place where we've had a terrible record. Let's hope that Elneny can inspire us to a victory there on Sunday.